So no, that is why the letter of administration, no, when we say I beans, it has been muted. It has been what? It has been cancelled. Me na make sure she will never get any letter of administration. Why? Because people know they are court one grandpa no. Criminal no makra woman. I was a chi omu. And it won't mean see court to them go be. Me na make sure. So that letter of administration, no. So we can want them say, obey me nya ene anasa ochina. Catch them say sini who say oboa. Ontimi enya. Because now no court them go kram woman who say I am thrown over try no. Because court them ho no ni LA no omo abusapan yi wo so.
Yeah, we are Ghpagetv so Ghana Info TV so ebusia ne da woni ebo channel so make sure so subscribe e dia am na face so click notification bell no se basa na update bia no wo na wodi kan ya wonsa eweka bi ene video bia eje no me na wa be fontin channel so no bi na Ghana Info yakwakofa ye de eba bedam mo eti America crib me so be come hwen na ye nyina akwakohwe video ni bi e dia ba ne ba ye de adwentre aba beto comment section
out report abochefo na aware na ya mo be ye wo Ghana na right omo de kwa abotre no documents aware no engagement no mo ye. How many of them are real aware? Is that not forgery?
Yeah, a lot of them.
So if you say it's a obituary near there, it is just say abotreno is not.
Nana, responding to those comments.
So people have to be realistic. What I say, this is the problem with a lot of Ghanaians. We are not logical and critical and realistic in our thinking. We are always thinking in a certain kind of saying. This is how you should think. You should be open-minded about Abrabo. If not, only 2 seconds and 2 hours but now for years they do not.
You won't do that.
Yes, you need to be open-minded and seek other people's opinions on matters because don't know. Men crowd them and then put their final 20. And then this is the difference. And then maybe if you don't know this is the kind of things you will land yourself into. What I say, if you don't know and you don't have the right people in your circle, you will fight unnecessary battles. A bit draining. See, and I can tell you, say this conspiracy will cause between Papa Shi and Akosua Serwaa and Ghpagetv Fosuno. It was the three of them because if you I listened to the audios today, and he is constantly mentioning Akosua Serwaa. He is constantly mentioning Papa Shi, and then he is constantly mentioning himself, putting himself.
You got the moment.
Putting himself in DL's life as an important figure. Meanwhile, you were absent from his life and after his private affairs for almost 2 decades. Okay, but one person relative back at him. If you be saying on Akosua Serwaa anywhere, they never divorced. You be saying on your double Lisa, what's your Ghpagetv? Now I'm trying some the tia na makoma kraba. Ghpagetv or this as on the 5 and on the 5 no more a kind ni bema. You still want to tag her as Ghpagetv. People are not realistic, and that is some of the things that when it comes to platforms like this, you will have to learn. You need to be realistic. For years, on an abewu, on an ashia busia, on a bitifie. Jabin Fosu Kasa or become Bibisa na East Legon Crano, Serwaa Mame to me say, and Kabibi now at some logo chasso because I am Tronkwan. I am Tronkwan. It is a man young conform to be trained poetry, say because there are so many ways to go about things like this that everybody will have a fair share of the cake at the end of the day because definitely not everybody can have it all. Deal legacy and assets, kind of properties and assets are well. It is definitely not going to one person. And Akosua Serwaa Nkwaho, and then call Dobroni Nkwaho, and then call Akosua Bimpoma Nkwaho. It in Kamubaya say, United Mono beyond the Libya Crampa, and carry better. But in Crawford, I was going to say something. Ghpagetv Fosu made a statement after he said, a deal was in pain for a long time, but he can't say once a media he can't say. Then he came back and said, the Lankasa cracker said, the doctor's cracker and said, on check. No, naturally said, the Okano time and no money that's so blue. Obenin Chensa. He overstayed their expectation. You see, these preconceived plans here come once no. And then money take place. Some plans we miss out kind of in case anything crampo. This whole setup, how are they plotted to go about? This kind of to execute. They must say after Lumba.
The cartel, no,
the cartel, cartel for no way, no, and yeah. Be map baby.
Before the mind died, no more planning.
Yes, before, but he just didn't die earlier as they expected.
As they planned, good.
Yes, and as they planned. It is time no way, and then they were thinking in their gullible minds, say they are still in that era now. Plan is hard, but they didn't know. Say a lot of time had passed. So if they knew even that this TikTok a about so this time, no, I'm telling someone who says because they have rather exposed people and themselves.
Okay. Lumba. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not all your customer Lumba, not Akosua Serwaa. Hello, about Serwaa.
Yes.
In the Norway.
No, Ghana.
At why customer Lumba, when you're paying uncle. The Bopin the Ben about which.
Obviously, Nancy, now I'm so
UK. Again, a single coin, so a back at one between about them and a cracker.
Answer to a question here.
Brian question said, there have been for two narrative assembly. Or say Akosua Serwaa the insurance and all the ton global deal. Do you know, sir, by the end of the interview, he also said DL insurance card Akosua Serwaa.
Nana, okay, baby, I say stoya card. Germany, you need stoya card.
Say a stoya. Me say be a more insurance.
Boy, there be stoya no a tax. You need tax card. Yeah, Okruma say.
So part says tax returns the card. That says the kind of obedient insurance. How do you, and then people believe them? If that then they can be before me make you request no. Or say go forward, say always set your mind and say no my argument because as more money per bread go.
I don't think that make catch your tea for me say hey adwuma na asi and it hey more comfortable lead. The omoye no they are crying behind the door. Munja o mo no munsu. Appeal no omo nimpefe say ebua bo omo ontimi nko. Hey ye be force omo a time na so ye mumfa ndwa omo tiri ho a say omo nko appeal no. Omunim say omapem ene sa dia yen create propaganda bi say microphone mum suru say ye be kwa appeal no nti omu create ama mo hu say omu say mum suru and say yen yesuru say omu be kwa appeal no. Look at this, it doesn't make there is nothing in the appeal betimi ene ye be kan let be o mema less can let be a free omu ankasa lawyer no ho no lawyer kusi no ho na obehu say sa let we ekokoto court a na ni grounds or no say o dey kwa appeal no. So between even any single ground crumper. Until one come to him, Akosua Kaya, appeal no, so almost so monk cry, moon force or platform be a mobile be a moon force or more say, appeal no, even say a dear crown, no more certificate not to Nechi, say on 19 from court or man, by this time, dear crown on court, court. So you know how
the duration is from between appeal na found.
I know, so we are stubborn into duration up ho kra ye besa kodudu ma pebi dia ka omo ho so omo mfa nko so omo mfa nko a mumfa ndwa omo asum sa momo omo na
because Mr. Ebeya may create petition from Ghana government now say we only limit in free on appeal no so na appeal no muntimi nya appeal even say December kan no be kan ye be bo no maye
o say ombisa jabi fosu no o say appeal no say so obako fichira ana enye jabi fosu papa shi lady na ubo na yi tisi ya no hane boy I think one of the ladies on be just no bako boy and obisa say
edini nye papa shi deport
aha and obisa say na appeal no omobeko na lady na o kontonchi ni say obisa nda question na papa shi san say obako jare na say wacha den na obu baby wo hono. There's nothing. Omunimu say omuni hwe omudi kwa appeal no. Ba ye de ya yinimu no ya kenkan ye hunu. Ye be force o ma so mbeko. Jabi fosi ya confirm say na aware no krampu no. Abusani bi e no.
Do ye interview ni bisa na say udi na ya mpa say deal de Akosua Serwaa divorce ya. Udi answer odi ma ya. Oh, me wo marriage pictures. Me what that baby I wanna wait. As simple. My divorce here na. Na baby. Me what marriage pictures. Wait, I answer.
And your answer. It is not an answer. And we are on confirm say there was no family. There was no family there. Okay judgment no. Akosua Brempoma oni Georgina no say no more. Even during cross examination Grampo no Brempoma no kra asan akoko jitu mu e wo ho no say na
we say evidence betimi akwati o mo se mo
den na mami Brempoma wo Germany na onu ani nua
na oni ho obi ahu na ware no nobody saw it is in the judgment
right kike munti asemo he Akosua Serwaa na Brempoma no mo na mo omo ndom ho sa o Lumba wo na ma omude obuti abebom e ba bepre ejapade e na simo ati se mikromu ni no mrant ankran for Akosua Brempoma body no waba out say JB wakwahwehwe mosi ID headquarters na letter na Akosua Brempoma de ma JB se on fa nko ma CID for no follow up no one follow up amano nti all along na Akosua Serwaa ni claim say omo this letter me call NIB no say JB na so ye na wanye
na nai masana mranti anyi ni bekan
sa na oka
see na Akosua Brempoma ka say one na lawyer na call ye one lawyer na call ye
nya lawyer oni JB
lawyer no ni JB no me ne me lawyer na call ye me ne lawyer any lawyer no ni JB.
Catch them say idea we mama important tokwawe na yempe psychiatrist best 200 no munchi obi ya members front line for
the say ni promo ni say adena sa JB as sabato omo ye selfish omo ku ama Akosua Serwaa nko a na omo sideline Akosua Brempoma me say asembo ibe kwa wiye no ho chale ensema ye bete no ho because see Calvin mo omo be kasa o omo nye bi nse ya o omo ankasa ya nti omo no ye beti afa lawyer fu
say ya
kada ya say odi ke bi akoto appeal no so ase
e dey that a long time a long
yes omo be kasa I don't want any na busia for by all means people come out
ya ni dey yeti ya check ra na ni nka
ache enye
yes say ma ko no to yes odi koto so wankasa woma e de omo yew wankasa woma
woma the other time ka ha say wo baba kokra no wa court akodi bem wadi bem wo bana kodi bem against you see omo hu say omo ye frustrated and nti na omo ye dia omo ye na ne omo nimi ya ne entro de dia expert nti omo de entro no ba betum and nti mo ko ti
omo nim ntro twa obi no bet me twa ntro and then video kan o china sanipa no nim ntro twa
so when you listen to them take it from me ni omo kan nyina no planting omo planning appeal to emotion fallacy yemfa nkototo omo trimu say this is what is happening meanwhile omo nim say nyesa na tie nti yem plan way na yem fa nkoto mframa no mu enti na bibia no they are fighting their battle on social media enti na say omanya social media abusuapanyin no TikTok abusuapanyin say wonimu say they omo ye nyina na yentu abusuapanyin yenye say ni nyina ye because of what one thing ejapade enti. Now it is clear you have been for ya mom no interview ne kasa emu ni ade nyina maame no ade a oye nyina ya ejapade. Now it is clear enti mu hia o mamon kan kire o mo say ejapade ni ntia o mo yesa ne dia ejapade ne dia it is secured with odobroni o me na me ka kire o say according to the law no maame no oni ejapade mu 1 cent kra se de Lumba na nkasa antwere bibia nto anfa ma ne dia ende obebre pa say a drum bra ye kan kan ejapade na say o ka say wa mani bia ene obekọ court wo wiase nyina se na omo kana nya se bia omo call International Court of Justice and anasa obekọ the International Court of International Criminal Court se na omo kana omo nim po say this court no you cannot even go there as an individual omo nim ene se bia omo yesa because papa shi na kan say omo bekọ akopim Supreme Court unim say u case a wo call appeal no obewe ni a obeka so obekọ Supreme Court unim say appeal na wo kono so obekọ krampo a untimi nwene. It is a one way near. What do? You go to the Supreme Court. And it's on the International Court of Justice. This a Japadino omuche, and I say, you can kind of world and then a trust in no money. And I say, my men and yabia. Says almost more fighting justice among justice. I'm looking at Japadio. So, Nebia, Obasa is Obasako Court. The court to Lydia and your mom prepare court legal from there. Someone mutia. The Tuane de move to Munyan to you because I can't. A Japadian home court and also beba abusuapanyin dia say mwako court say obia free social media ono no say oye TikTok abusuapanyin a ono kwakọ join away no emra me making kind of rate no na ye mesere keke me kind rate ni wi me hu say the rate no krampo no it is just what a new case altogether na be kwakọ piem e court because e ko piem the court will see him as what as an imposter. Sa abusuapanyin na omo TikTok abusuapanyin no ebeye dekeke e court. He is an imposter. Why? Because here abusuapanyin Kofi is the one that the court knows. Right? Memo akan Alex Nyama Alex Asifom say judgment no wetin be BCC e wada yi so paragraph 19 ye be kenkan judgment. This is a judgment, and since it's a judgment, you know, a legal record, a legal record that I refer to. It is now a law. So abusuapanyin Kofi Wusu's name is now secured in the law because that case, you know, Akosua Serwaa versus abusuapanyin Kofi Wusu and then 2 others. Now you can what? You can quote it. You can state it. When you go into it, there are instances the court has referred to the corner and then the Akosua abusuano say omo family head is what is abusuapanyin Kofi Wusu. Right, paragraph 19 say what may be kamem working kan kakra bi.
So Joe, paragraph 19 kinke.
Okay, go. Alex about very good.
Unsemra no way afa. Enti paragraph biana.
Yeah.
Project first part in Way paragraph 19 or page 6. Also, she said D2 Odobroni was in a relationship with the deceased, and she bore him 6 children, and that D1 is the head of the family of the royal family of Nsuta and Pakoso.
So, and that D1 is the head of family.
Yes.
Of royal family of Nsuta and Pakoso. This is a court record. Okay. Yeah. Let's move to 32, paragraph 32.
Me
for the last paragraph, no.
Yeah, but my person watching say yes, say Odobroni eware dead Lumba. Na so ko anima abusuapanyin ene obi a oye Pakoso Nsuta abusuapanyin ni pa ai wo dead Lumba ne maame fam. Me ko 32 no o say abusuapanyin Kofi Wusu D1 defendant 1 no testified as the head of the royal family of Pakoso Nsuta in Ashanti region. O say abusuapanyin Kofi Wusu ono ne emremu ankasa abusuapanyin oda Pakoso ene Nsuta abusua e wa Santeman mu. But was also in his evidence in chief. He said that the deceased, Daddy Lumba, and the plaintiff were traditionally married in 1991 and they relocated to Germany and allegedly registered their union. Was it Papa Kofiusu Abusia Panyin Suta any Pakusu Abusia Panyin? One on the Kratapa or Porto de Babeto Cotanim. What can say that Lumba ya can Wasemino? One no any cofa by Mammy Akosua Serwaa. Omuwari wa mamre mu pa 1991.
Alex. Na san ko wachina ko 31. Na ko kan 31 ho no ubehu se court ni san sisu dua kan se oba ya war ye customary right no or no na woye yere.
Any American 31 was he continued that the funeral observation is believed to be both spiritual and physical. And there is a wife or wives, she or they have to perform the widowhood rite. Right?
There is a wife.
RITES. Let's say.
Let's read here. No. If there is a wife, let's kind of.
Was he about ye more? Ye jitumu pass a ye yo. A home honamo asem. Na se oba ye friend ye bi wo ho a. Ana yere no wo ho a. Esese womo edikuna.
Court no as I repeat here the last paragraph, the last sentence the same paragraph no can ho Alex Bacho can ho mame with widowhood rights
also with the wives have the wives have to go through and now open last part no
the last part
okay no. Also with widowhood rights the women who are customarily married perform their rights subject to how she or they treated their deceased relative.
Nti oba ya ware no amamre mu no ono na oye amamre a ekire se ni kuna wo which is what the customary what rights. Court na kasa you. Oba ya ware no the woman who is married.
Osi abanu kuna yemu a. Oba ya ware no amamre kwan so. Wono
na ye kuna.
Ene ye kuna.
Simple put.
Na sa kuna ye no. E ya de a ye de oba fam. Emma obi a wawuro e de ama no. Se wokuna na se wajere nti court kura esisu gina
edua eni ti hwan ye kuna no odobro ni ye kuna no so ono ana ye oba ya ware no amamre kwan so ana court no kan se emamienu na ya ware omo amamre kwan so ba ko na be ye kuna nti ni ama ye kuna no oye den onya yere customarily. That is the meaning. Open just a judgment way at the court to be Akosua Serwaa will be defeated of what of
customarily the na Akosua Serwaa no nim so onye yere o. Wan ko kora wan fa ho.
Mami kind 30 no kura na hwe de wo ho.
Mr. Alex, answer now be kind 30 no because we are not tapping. But you're in a tapping screens, but you're moving like 400k. That's a means by which you'll be able to sustain the live, tapping the screens, commenting, sharing the live, and then also sending in gifts to sustain it. Into me, but you're tapping less or tap one. You're 1.1k. By now, you do 600k likes crank and change in Pamucho. That's no,
Eka Abusapanyasem. Was say he added that where the family has to perform a funeral rite, it is the head of the family who becomes the chief mourner.
Yes.
Together with the elderly women and others who come together to organize it.
Very good. And Alex, ni esansu sisu dua biem say abusuapanyin Kofi Wusu. Ono na ye abusuapanyin of instead any Akoso no. Maka kire say sesiye na omoye we no. The court will declare it again. Alex, the last paragraph 164 no. Just go to the consequential orders and also court
consequential order number 1 no. I can't pay na any or say consequential orders no. And no what page 48. Na first one here A or say the Ekwana family of Pakoso and Nsuta Ashanti, represented by the head of the family, Opanyin Kofi Owusu. First defendant is hereby ordered to
the
organize
the family of Pakoso and Insutano, or Mabusa Penya court nim Omabusu penny a court nim a nipa bakope. Or any word, abusu penny word confuse. So when they are going to court like this, TikTok abusu penny obekwa ko prove you have to prove it. And then I'll prove. Obi betuma answer that question mama.
Kinke, mamfa kakra bi kran so de o kan yeso. Si hene a. Ni esi abusuan panyina. Ye sheda ko Ashanti Traditional Council. Ni de safo ni din akoto ho. Da chance munti. Nti mibisa wo. Ye wi a ye san ye ho amamre ne amane. Ni de wako kire feku no. Na feku ndo wako manhia. Go through some process where I say your team so. Ya jiwa tum sampa oni busuani. Papa ya yesi no ewa yi ase maintain nkampo bia. Na no amete na numa se mo se yomo ya Monica mana hu na manepa eno kwa na mete. Edo mpacho nke to aso.
Nti ni alesa kan na nanka evidence so okoko to.
Alex me ba nke nka dia say Alex me kan so ka infone ebusia penning for especially ebusia penning to say to pack or this year royals yes omono ekwa traditional councils no 18 teams we are they signed the court my gazette.
Yes.
There is a legal gazette and it's how the instrument process no much than the no the and baby.
Na me say me kan ono ankasa na yi kra ono dia court na o say ono no ye interim of which in a can custom no we don't have anything called interim or abusuan penny. There is nothing like that. Anything Mark Rahel you are muted.
What me too.
Kinke, I was just saying say interim abusuan penny.
And all the court yes. Yes. Ono akase na the letter me so kan kra next time you better answer letter no ha say ono interim into make us could do court honoma or imposter. The court will declare him as an imposter. Obi anim no. And it case now ono so kwakwa join no kra me eye me de.
Because say Kinke, do you know why they didn't go to court today? For me, I'm thinking, say, they know, say, the outcome of today's meeting will determine probably what is going to happen at the court.
Exactly.
And they decided not to go to the meeting today, so that in any way, will not impact the court's decision.
The court,
they are meeting.
Yeah, so if it doesn't come from the traditional side, then it will come from the court. So definitely the court never basso. Now we could do court to them who no move. Say emra na de kwako ye adwuma. Say emra na de kwako ye adwuma dia. Ene obe prove ne ma na hoden a ema na ye abusuan panyin no. Because in this case ohene no krampo na I was ohene no na si na abusuan panyin no. Ohene no or the letter. So you take a letter to the court and you bet I can customer you pack of expert witness Ephraim Fiaba. Now expert witness about I can say actually court and say because the court no payment. The only year with my say traditional unim into young expert witness embra. That's the only thing. So when the expert witness come or no bachelor say so hine ebesi abusuan panyin or the letter NC no and I say or the nano NC no.
Kiki hwe assemby esi court na no. Assemby esi ya ema ya maame omukọ court. So be kaya abusuapanyi ede nipa nan yi court no. Her ladyship Justice Halima El Alawa Abdul Basit Omaye statement. Na statement order by 25th day of March 2026. Sakra take kutamina 10 pages emudo. But birinti no mamen kind baby kakra bi na baby ame kind no sebe unya bi kind a page 9 na tie de mami kind o say conclusions. Thou upon consideration of the processes so far filed, The court opens that as between the plaintiff who sued as the head of family and the defendants, there are obvious serious questions to be tried in respect of our customary law of the parties, which requires preserving the status quo depending the final determination of this suit. That you were. I am guided by the fact that the grant or refusal of an interlocutory injunction is discriminatory and must be exercised judicially, fairly, and candidly, taking the settled principle into account. Also, in the circumstance, therefore, in the exercise of my discretion, I hold that equity.
Good.
Na adia ma me kan ya me hu dwiri me pa no. Kinke, ma me no was very cautious say eba na himfie nsem a so you very careful about it. Nti the enkrofo nim ne say omo hye tu ni omo hye say be ya the outcome of fake no ebe kire enioma bi. Na the entire make say enkrofo be lusu o court ne say abusuya panyi din eda Asantemai Council.
Yeah.
Abusuapanyi din ya gazette. Abusuapanyi asoya kire yiwura. Na abusuapanyi asoya edi akire na hemfo ewo pakoso ensuta. Na uko kan ya kinki kan Eliana. Adiana me depa was akrata no consequential family of Pakoso and Insuta represented by the head of the family Abusuapanyi
Kofi Wusu.
Underline word represented by the head of the family Abusuapanyi Kofi Wusu, access to the body of the late Charles Kojofusu aka Lumba to perform his burial and funeral rite.
Now, Rahel, unim judgment unless every first one no, efa omo case no hono. The direct case na omujina sisi ayo abusuapanyi na kaka hono. Na unim say unless kan judgment na for the injunction no e buy no. I can say the aka no because injunction is just an aspect of it, interim. That is why it's called interlocutory injunction. Just for prayer. Until you grant ma abusuapanyi Kofi Wusu no. Now, ni aka no ubedi no. Eno na sa TikTok abusuapanyi akwa join no. Until ho na say no akwa duru sisi yi. Eno nti say omo say omo nko amamre me yefra omo ahemfie na say omo nko a. Then they could do court to them hodum na. This is where ni yakinkan sisi yi prove say abusuapanyi Kofi Wusu no ono na court nim no ni din na court nim say ono na abusuapanyi no ho na ebe mu no, so you have to prove with evidence. So nipa ya ono no so court say ono no oya abusuapanyi no, I say oko prove. I was say oko prove to court. And then see drew the court will say they need an expert witness. Nti ebe kire kwan ya wo ye fa so ye wo interim abusuapanyi na say ye wo obi wo Ghana no wo hu say abusuapanyi bi ye interim da obe kire court ama court ati
arawosema omunim kura ne say what is his locus right now?
Only locus
arawosema e woman no nje say no
na ba na imposter no because you don't have any locus.
So we need locus there. Next, you don't have traditional recognition. 1, ewo fake wonum.
Yes.
2, ewo traditional council. 3, ewo manshia. Inti wo akonwa no a wo frena busuapanyi sebe ugina mu no. How? Ena ye frena the traditional rights any ideas ye. Emma e confine say you have been traditionally installed.
Yeah.
As a busuapanyi. Papa we bele kroman twa sister right.
Me ye kan nyina no nka ye nka o. Enso so me se hunu na omudi e wo mo platform no so ne ade no because me ye kan nyina no nka court dem na be kwa prove all of these things. But me wo mo ye no ntino e na ye ka kire yen ya tifo ne say this is what we have. This is the ammunition that we have. Omo pa omo fa There's nothing they can do to, because letters near mobile church, the much we at the hodada. So based on these letters, and I did you say no way in free. Until what your letter or him swatch letter. It is clear, say, or a letter. One mudra and answer one year, one year any IBR, and or the letter. Until I could do quarter. Until the court will find out, say, I am pampas a letter, now a deceit. Abusu penny. Na letter no the two abusu penny so court will prove it. Another hameboa. So all of these things quite roots. Na mimpo make the court move and this stamp basis so than say ebe free him fear na because the you practice the constitutional supremacy. And intina say asem court na some person ya abusu ya si yiko na ka ofie. Nti se muka customer one na say anye year and all the back court. What is the final decision making? And it's
customary one. They have not exhausted the.
They have not exhausted it.
You can say hierarchical order of solving issues. No, they have not exhausted it. You see, no, omu chrome level. They have to go through before Baby do up him so home. Exactly. And that day is the day that this matter I am select. Today is the day I can't wait for. It's the day this matter will arrive at 2:40.
Intermediate, I am the papa. I am the say omunim answer. Into omko meeting ne say any man ko any so who could do her say na beba ombe you say nti sa meeting na no ye and nti na wo call mo platform so na na yem fa meto abontin ye be the back door no social media for na mamu adwen na nkrofo mo adwen say we mo titi platform so
I even heard one lady on a platform say on my meeting to no they no omunim say enya dia pa koso hin no
obeko. Yes, it's a meeting omaye, you know it. Nti ayo omo na ema omo adwen no na obi te say for my channel ono na adwen yesen ono na kire mo ne munye na ono na be kire say mun committee no esi mama mun ko
na ra wutie Ghpagetv for so interviews na bo say na xenophobic friend no mo bisa say only man me Akosua say one kasa na team legal wife for no ne omon kasa, and his response is always the one way na say so collect will be 15 years now be the 18 and then now bit in control no mo so much so say 18 years no like I say it means to say enye omo phone no be the etwa ana omo data until they cannot compel anybody say there omunja assembly because then almost omo yo adwuma. So then it means you are aware say mo the assembly amankrofo adwuma and omo dey cash out. The second interview, no, the man even asked him, say, nkrofo team legal wife for Mami Akosua say what da o ma say. Or say one da one bobi edin. One bobi meanwhile she said team legal wife for, and then they keep saying say na odoboni embre ne ho ase ona yeketwa. One man ho so atrobi. O man ho so ntrobi ai. And one for obi anso court.
Nti nana hema makase sese no o ma ye ne clear say ajapade na omo pe omo say justice omo so omo pe ma omo ma me nyina ya ajapade eni ti mon kan kire omo mo break omo heart sa say ajapade no nko na omo pe dia eni nyina ya odobro ni dia o mo omo so nte say ajapade no pa nti na omo so omo pe justice ne dia eni ebe take omo 100 years and say omo justice omo pe na ba because legally no they don't have any chance. Mami Akosua so munim say ajapade na ye maame no wabre na ne ye won say de mana obia ni ho no ma odi bibia be mama no because on deserve he says legally no be kono nko ade a hwe say odobroni eni ho no ma and I say if odobroni don't consent that Lumba na ajapade obia ni ho no bitin de nsaka me can be if without obia ni ho no bitin de nsaka that Lumba na ajapade but the other way around no it's not the same say Akosua say we ni ho no ma Akosua Serwaa can be eliminated based on what the documents and all of these things are actually are available. No? So no, that is why the letter of administration, no, when we say beans, it has been muted, it has been what? It has been cancelled. She would never get any letter of administration. Why? Because people know they are court no. criminal no makra woman I was a chi wom and it won't mean see court to them go be me na make catch so that letter of administration no so be can wasem say obetimi anya ene anase ochina catch them say sini who say oboa ontimi enya because now no akoto court them go kra ma woman who say ntro no betwa no because court them ho no ni LA no omo abusuapanyi wo so abusuapanyi wo so sa abusuapanyi onye TikTok abusuapanyi asise omo se omo de nasi ho no ndi wo hu abusua ba kope now they have a different abusuapanyi o kope LA no o different abusuapanyi o de kope LA judgment na e ba ye wo na ware abusuapanyi so wo ho no ana sesi ye so omo sanya TikTok abusuapanyi you see how confused these people are omanka so why confused and it first of all say Ghpagetv nko dia omunyi Akosua Serwaa is out na mama reasons na dada e wo hai makandada say niema odobroni eye very strong ne say ono na oni ni kunu na etie na ni kunu free mu that is the first second one ni kunu na one ne tie no one na tena forward for 19 good years that's 2006 and there's evidence and the court can prove this. Then the last one is and I said the last part one is one no enkla mako ensia. Then the last one is the money no they are all below 18 years. They are all underaged. All of these is amaboni na bakukure ni ma Akosua Serwaa ewo wait me their battle this way. So in terms of properties in Kwadia say Ghpagetv there and even lastly that Lumba na Ghpagetv in na krampo no odobroni nanim Akosua Serwaa onim ba kokra sei oni ba ko pese kra onim na Ghpagetv ni onim ani tantra he say oba e ma no koda tantra he eno ankwa na onim e den na kire se tantra he no krampo no wo de be ma wo eye ne dia opa na wo de be ma wo so wan fa ma wade na be there's nothing she can do legally. Emremuno, there is nothing Akosua Serwaa can do. That 19-year gap, no, she will have to prove to the court. Your contribution, that 19-year, no, where were you? Court now call the worst decision of all. Say a person being brand and once I said no more Canada or no woman and Kauba, no, obey you know. Say Omuhu no, and call the famu because the other party, none of Ukraine or Ukraine will call and take a beer and take obey brand and once mum. Nanka wako akoshe Priscilla ase odobroni ase se na omo pese Priscilla mum na enkwoshe na ase no da bi ayo onu mum na se ko bre no ho ase ka okoye anka one na ekasa no ahobrasie mu enya ahantanso se eme na me kan me mani nye bi una umani nye bi hwe Alex paper ocho paragraph 93 wait me akan ama me a
we dey court on sem e hokra na yeda 93 no page 28 where the 49 pages. Or say, let me state that a plaintiff should have attempted to certify the German marriage certificate, and by that she could have tendered in evidence. Such attempt being a letter written to the Ghana embassy requesting for the certification. Court asema wakani say Mami Akosua Serwaa na nko betimi aye no homwa. Ajamai aware krata o marriage certificate ori abai no na nko betimi e de akọ. Na wa churo letter ama ko akosi Ghana embassy so e wo German. Say wo mu emfa bombelet emmum emmano. Na say onfamra court a simpie pass so say panyan. But no krampo o manye e na court.
You see? Me mama Alex akan sisi from the judgment na eba on the 28th of November 2025. This was the final judgment. Judge na kan ho asem. Say we na wo senka or no we plaintiff no nka wo senka o ye attempt na ka wo senka o make me because abeto na nim say ade a wo kan so onye nyina no warantimi anye authentication o certification o ni nyina warantimi aniti na ne na ka o expect say nka obetum dia be prove point kakra bi kra wo court ne say nka wonye attempt bi kake wudni mu say sa asem we no na wodi ka kire no before what the injunction the interrogatory injunction no
kaipa
interlocutor injunction so judgment no by 28th of October. And nunti anka bibia anka just after that what you do, you will do it. And this
yeah.
And so maybe man less I can't let it be what has here or no one can send a lawyer actually. But and now say omunim say asia kwan bi wo hono nti no wo man timi anye. Nti Alex me pa ocho say what me be sa lete yi eya ono ankasa ne lawyer kusi say o kire na ka odi akwa the Ghana embassy in Germany say
kinke
omwa wo na say ka mrebe bu man ka obetimi ato screen so ba wo tifo no kra hwa
me de beto so pa na answer na me call na 88 paragraph 88 so can see be one de pa or say in tendering of the marriage certificate was objected by the learned counsel for the defendants. The objection had been raised during the hearing of the application of the interlocutory injunction.
Good.
On the 28th of October 2025.
Of October. Said the mekano.
Court to say some do a warrior krata a day banner dear. Odo bronyi ni abusuapanyin nkrofo lawyer fo mu gina mu a defendant de omu boni nyina toguye. Na hwe. Sa asem we. No ma boy to 28th October. Adentia. Also the court rejected the document and advised the counsel for the plaintiff to ensure that they comply with the requirement under the Evidence Act. Ositie. Court no bossa krata no kura toguye. Na omutu lawyer Akosua efo se be ma wo free hayi ko fakra time and fa Evidence Act no say krojin. It is therefore a surprise that the plaintiff did not comply with the requirements nearly a month later. Court no say no nwanwa papa se lawyer Akosua ene mami Akosua sewa mo fakra time ko fa sa nyoma krojin mu no mantimanye Busome senne November 28 ayebu asemi. Masa ko fasakra. Krofo emunye serious. Sana court kan.
Yes.
Mpato me babe yi letter no ediaba.
Nti eba bonten no a Rahel what say no mo ka say na court no nka obetimi kra gie atum court kra obetimi afa telephone na wafre o mo lawyer nka say eba be ka kire o mo say ni na o mo ka wa bonten no nyesa na tie. Na ne e wo say nka o mo ye pa no na obekan wo letter yi mu. Now it was surprised to say right from there no when Timama me catch and crofo ya omo TikTok isu a omadwin nyina ne wo mu ane mamena bro na timliga no I was saying ko sambe kansa no kra ne kire omo say ade we na mbra no Ghana mbra e kire say nka menye a mantimi anye ono ankasa betu na no mutu na we okay let's have
but yi idea legacy na legacy wan say man ye kan is that why Yania bre papa. We free Dominion Chambers. Now here, lawyer Akosua, the letterhead and Echagui. Letter Waboni Dini said the ambassador of Ghana to the Federal Republic of Germany, Berlin, German Semna working. Whenever Akwaba pa. Papa natural letter was Your Excellency or catch the German phone. Request for certification of document. Now let you she dated also 3rd November.
3rd November date we know obi antren to baby 3rd November obi antren to baby say my catcher will say the interlocutory injunction about on which date 28th of what of October. So October ba answer November aba after the interlocutory na okochire salete we and a final judgment about 28th of November until Obian Fanton 3rd of November Fatu team baby or Chirato baby.
That no see we act as solicitors for and on behalf of Mrs. Akosua Serwaa Frafosu Assembly Ekai, who is surviving spouse of the legendary Ghanaian music icon Charles Kojufosu, aka Lumba, on whose instructions we write specifically requesting your office to certify official documents emanating from the Federal Republic of Germany. Omzi ejina mu say lawyer for Pama Mami Akosua Serwaa wonno any that Lumba yere awu kuna for baako eja no. Na papa yi no anyum tuni mapompa na din pa ye frɛ no Ghpagetv su. De nkrofo nim no ɛwɔ nwum ɛda Lumba. Na maami Akosua na ahye ye se ye ntwere letter yi. Ye mfa mram. Maso ye se krata be hia se mode abombelete bom. Jama fo momwaye na sem aba. Oto aso say Your Excellency, our client is currently engaged in a legal suit for which it has become necessary for her to reproduce her German marriage certificate in court.
Our client is currently engaged in a legal suit.
What's in painful? Muntie. Nipa ye jina na fa ene na beka asem we no. Wo jina kono pa wo mremu. E wo Ghana. Na ho ko hia papa. Se mo mai krata ya ware krata pa yesi so ne da ko jina court. Adentia. Which certificate Prof Benye mumbo amio. Which
repeat one no be answer na what you no say.
Okay. Which certificate she
German marriage certificate repeat one no answer na what you say.
Reproduce a German marriage certificate in court. Which certificate she acquired some years ago from the Federal Republic of Germany as a result of her monogamous marriage she celebrated with her deceased husband, Charles Ghpagetv that Lumba. Sa word ni she na me name say Edenyo but ma ho ani ada. Yomo kanie. Se mami Akosua Serwaa na ware krata na momwaye ewo ho wogina court akono. Sa krata ya na staka mre bia na atwam. Ewo German. Mo ankasa mu kurom. Efiri se na ware ba ko pa untimi ware a won ware bi nka ho court ware. A wono gi na ni wo mu pa so ne ne kunu. Charles Ghpagetv ye. Na ni din pa ededa Lumba. Yes.
Alex unim say sa asem we are twe esere. Was it which certificate she acquired some years ago?
From
Federal Republic of years ago.
Yes.
Certificate
I certificate years ago ben. And then that Lumba we ya no koji na certificate years.
Very good, Rahel. You are very smart.
Yo. Kinke. Marriage certificate na ye kano. Years ago ni yo. Na marriage certificate we date I wo 12 August 2000.
12 of August 2025.
Na certificate
this certificate because was it which she acquired some years ago from the Federal Republic of Germany as a result of her monogamous, meaning say as a result of what of the civil marriage, you know. And no certificate. The certificate I want him.
Brofonini monogamous marriage she celebrated with her husband.
With her deceased husband.
Underlying word some years ago.
Yes, the question is, years ago now, what years are monogamous marriage now? Only a certificate. Certificate I want him. Let's say 12th of August day you. So near what say if there's anything to go by there, I was say and yes 12th of August certificate is already attached salary way.
2004.
Very good, Alice. But that was way.
Me twas on any. Your Excellency Yao was say this request has arisen as a result of a mandatory statutory requirements. I feel you want once I will cast a mute.
Let me buy only cake na nti we no brofo we ni na your marriage certificate on brofo na.
Marriage certificate on brofo no.
For marriage certificate.
Your Excellency.
Ajama form dey nti me nko register nko disa.
Oh, that. That's why I hope so Kayana. I near kind of chiremuna brofone bromiso.
Your Excellency, this request has arisen as a result of a mandatory statutory requirements by Ghanaian laws which demand that foreign documentation and a document.
Omo be ka wa bonten se court na sisi wo mu na court no ni kwan se ka ɔde ɔmo fa deɛ ɔde ɔmo fa mu no montie ne ɔmo ɔno ne lawyer ankasa ka o lawyer kosi ne nsa no nie repeat it.
Wait, say, Your Excellency, this request has arisen as a result of a mandatory
mandatory
statutory, Mr. Alex Mako, requirement by Ghanaian laws, which demand that foreign documents that are to be tendered into evidence at trial in any Ghanaian court be accredited, accompanied with a certificate of authentication from a diplomatic agent. Okay. Now we're not accredited to that country, which in the instance case is your office. Since the said document is emanating from the German government.
Your Excellency, asem and Sister Rahel Kanye. Mama say ye catch them say ye hear pa ye hear. If we say Oma she yen na saa de no ye hear de ankasa wo kuro na ye ka ho asem no.
Very good.
Say wo de ba Ghana court a Ghana mrase. Say wo de ade ye krata firi kuro foforo so e ama no ne kuro so e ba. E wo say wo de saa de no fa dance ye kuro gin mu ansampo ansa na ye bedi asem no.
E wo any court in
Ghana court nyina na ese wo saa de marriage certificate e ka ho a ye de afa jam ya bona boberet
yes
ye de stamp so na wo hwe mu pa a efri obi o wa manone a ya je na tum se na djuma ese o ye wa manone na ye hwe mu na hu se saa asem we die e maso ye e na mo saa document a ye ka ho asem yi no jamafo una mo ye hu.
Okay, I'll say yes, Kinky. Your Excellency. Okay, Pacho.
One say Rahel. One say kakra ya kan. One say o matu mfutu agu amanfo ani ache.
Yes.
One say sa asem we ya wakan. E kire say onu onim say embra e wo Ghana no.
Yes.
Aye mandatory and then statutory.
Kinky.
Mandatory say eyenhye.
Kinky.
Enye se judge ne pa se na omo ka no judge ne kra opa nka obefa telephone na wafre opa enye opa o se ono kusi ne ka se eyenhye ade na wo me ka kire ne krofo isa
Kinke
ade na wo me ka kire tin legal for ne se ade na court se menye no eyenhye a wo se nka meye nti right so obeka ya from the beginning me bisa wo se ade nti na wukuna wu 26 na wo nkoko 27th.
No, okay.
So, Ubeko court na why preparation, what prepare wo ho. Enu nti unim say e was say u krata na ekura wo no. Enye Ghana de, say Ghana de a unhia anything like this because a Ghana law certificate makato say ekura wa e law. Kura wo ye wa de no wo so no. E homra e ekura wo nsam no. Say Ghana certificate e de ahye wo nsam Ghana law is we are holding the Ghana law. So ukura German de ukura German law no e ekura wo. Enunti before say wo be court no wo di kan ye sa noma we nyina wie ama sa paper na wo pe no aba be duru Ghana ansa na wo fa pen asi paper so atwere rate e dia court obi so beka say enye na onyanye ready sa ana say emre ma no ho kwan esan say efunu ne da ho say wonim sa dia enye okope den wo court
Kinke
wonim say efunu da ho no ma ye kwa kosie dia then there is no need for you to go to court in the first place.
Kinke. Letter we no e baako. Na woka asem sisia no ahanya amadwene kura sisia. Unim say letter na papa no chiro saa da no o chire letters makomako 20. Me woni nyina wa ha Kinke, me woni nyina wa.
Yes.
Woni nyina wa ti. Na me wie we a me yi baako no nyina ama. Na say watimi a chire mu akọ why? Woni nyina wa ha wada roma. Esa wa ne pa ma brofo.
Mo ma o ba de ya kwansa na ko se ne de ma nso wa brepa.
Yes.
Oh. Gege.
Okay.
Any hold on. Ne yenti ahimfo. So na de. Oheneba akwaba.
Oheneba pacha akwaba.
Menua
Osu menua ba.
menua bɔkɔ deɛ.
Ɛnyɛ baako aba.
Sir Alex ne Kinki ne Naima me mamunya na madi kai me magye so.
Yɛdwo so.
Menua ɛnɛ deɛ ayiko ayi ɛno ana na Naima ka.
Naima ka sɛ mantiu.